But then we have crypto legislation to bring rhetoric clarity. I'll check if there's any more clips on this as well. But yeah, they basically confirmed on what's next for crypto.
Spoke with Congressman Brian Stile. We've been talking about it through the show. Republican from Wisconsin and an industry ally who chairs a House subcommittee on crypto. Here's what he said about how Crypto Week is going to play out.
I think what we're going to see is three major pieces of legislation move across the House floor later this week. First off is the Genius Act, which already passed the Senate, which moves us forward in stablecoin. That furthers dollar dominance around the globe. The second major piece of legislation is Clarity.
I wonder how this will affect like other coins as well. I think he explains it very well, like what exactly Clarity means and what that just basically means, where it goes from there. Now, this is the important factor that I missed out on, guys, that I want to drop into.
Here in the United States, protect consumers and be in a position to outcompete other countries, and in particular China. And the third major piece of legislation is preventing a central bank digital currency from being developed and forced upon the American people. These three pieces of legislation, I think, will all pass the House floor and make sure that the United States is the world leader in the Web3 race.
Yeah.
Congressman, I kind of want to take a step back. We'll talk about...
So Africa, China, Russia, India, they're all behind on crypto compared to US. US is missing millions of dollars, but all other countries that are so slow on this don't realize they could lose billions. Literally, Trump sat down with crypto experts and said, if we don't get this by this year, US will lose lots of more money.
These pieces of legislation in detail in just a minute. But I think even though this is Bloomberg Crypto...
So China banning crypto, I think this was a big financial mistake, in my opinion, for the crypto market. It actually did happen. And, India being so hard on crypto, this could be like billions and billions of dollars coming into crypto market as an extra. So you have 55 million buyers in crypto right now. 2 million of that, 2% of that have bought institutions. Like 2% of all institutions have bought crypto. So a very small amount. So you could get a much, much bigger amount of money into the market yet. Again, what happens next? Once you get all the US holders, the next step is actually getting possibly people from other countries.
I think there are a lot of...
If you can't get enough money from US, you just go to another country and basically make their money by having people move or start companies. And that's how governments work. It's basically a tough society. That's what happens sometimes in Europe. People move to other countries because they get a better job offer. People move to other states because they get a better job offer. And it's same basis with US states and it's the same basis as China-US trade war, which we're seeing right now. They're having a trade war and they're getting first on crypto. Guys, we're seeing this for the last, 100 years or 50 years. We're seeing the same with the moon landing, with Russia being the first to have the moon landing and US being the first. Now we're seeing the first who's going to be doing the crypto legislation and making crypto the big thing. So, let that sink in, that this doesn't change that much. Maybe 80 years have changed or whatever, but the money factor is there, the status factor is there.
People out there, it's fair to say, who are not convinced about the utility when it comes to cryptocurrencies and when it comes to just legislation in this space, that it's necessary. Sell that to the American people.
The thing is, I had people tell me that crypto is not good for the last 4 years. And because I listened to them, I wasted 3 years of my life. But if I didn't listen to them, we would be in so much better position, both for my life and probably for the crypto videos, right? And that's the issue. A lot of people don't realize the true potential.
I think what we should do is step back and look at how the United States won the Web 2 race. In many ways, we're all...
Exactly how he's saying Google right now is dominating. All these crypto companies are just a very small part of what will be Web 2 race. Now, he's very smart on that. Google is based in US. Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, all based in US. Tons of money coming in.
Benefited in the United States of America because large tech companies are domiciled here in the United States. It doesn't mean I love all aspects of big tech, but we're definitely benefited by having those companies domiciled.
So now imagine you can have the biggest crypto companies. A lot of them are based in Dubai right now because of 0% tax. What if Trump starts offering, which I think it might happen in the next few years, starts offering these companies to move to US and giving them subsidiary, 0% tax, or paying for employees or stuff like that? That would be absolutely huge, because it's not just tax that Trump can profit from, and basically US, I mean. There's plenty of ways that you can make money out of companies, such as people spending money on food, people spending money immigrating their family to the US. So if I had an opportunity, that would be an awesome one, right? And I think a lot of family members will move there.
In the United States, as we look out and see the coming of Web3, really with a fundamental principle in blockchain technology, we need to make sure that we have the rules of the road here as this new technology is coming online. Further, what we're currently operating in is not no regulation. What we're currently operating in is poor regulation designed for a previous era. And so what we
Yeah, so there was no regulation, basically as bad regulation nowadays, because there's plenty of countries that are open to crypto, and that's where the US companies moved. Like, top crypto exchanges moved outside of US because US didn't know what to tell them what crypto is and froze their banks or didn't want to work with them.
Saw with Chairman Gensler as chair of the SEC under the Biden administration was regulatory action and enforcement actions that were driving forward policy. This is our opportunity to have a clean start, to say, let's make sure that we're regulating this for the era of Web3, to force and to encourage the development of Web3 technology here in the United States. Lack of new legislation will continue the results of what we saw during the Chairman Gensler's time at the SEC, which was enforcement actions in an incredibly unproductive manner.
Yeah, so not doing anything for crypto literally killed crypto, because crypto went down. Again, Terra Luna Classic failed, and all these people were asking, will I get my money back? Well, surprise, nobody got their money back from the US government. But with right crypto clarity, maybe the exchanges will be forced to give money once a crypto exchange fails, or if a crypto coin fails and you bought it for a certain price, can you get it back for, I don't know, maybe 30%? So in that way, crypto could be regulated. Like, let's say you buy a meme coin, and if it fails very low prices after 1 week, can you get like 30% of it back? I think that's the way that US tries to improve it.
Representative Style, one big question about the stablecoin bill, in particular, the Genius Act. We spoke recently to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who highlighted the ability of stablecoins to be large buyers of U.S. Treasuries. And while on the positive end of that spectrum, that would mean you have another buyer of U.S. Treasuries while the U.S. debt load is as large as it is. The risk here is that the stablecoin industry, critics would say, could become too big to fail. How do you protect that industry from becoming so large that it could require a bailout someday?
I think actually the regulatory framework will actually reduce and prevent that risk. Why? Because currently
I think he's very right about that. We're going to just be seeing less risk with crypto. She's basically, it just tells me how people are not very big or associated with crypto, or they don't know much about that, which is totally fine, right? So they're still learning. But it's a very basic understanding that regulating crypto is better for the crypto industry, even though 10 years ago people thought different about that.
Coins are growing, but in an unregulated manner. And so we already see them as one of the largest purchasers of U.S. Treasuries. What the Genius Act does is puts in place a regulatory framework that makes sure that we have additional transparency as it relates to the audit, and make sure that they're governed and regulated under U.S. laws. And so what I think we'll actually see is the opposite of the risk that you just proposed, which is if we don't regulate in this space, what we have is the risk that you would have some sort of significant financial challenge. What we're doing is putting regulations in place to try to limit and prevent future.
Exactly. They're trying to say, hey, you can't do that, or we're going to come in and we're going to close down your company. There's been so much issues in the past 3, 5, 6 years with crypto. People got absolutely destroyed.
Risk.
Congressman, let's talk conflicts of interest and what these bills do in order to prevent conflicts of interest, not just in the executive branch, but also with members of Congress. What would you say to critics who say, wait a second, we're seeing a lot of people in Washington get wealthy when it comes to crypto, how do we make sure that there are no conflicts of interest here?
This bill does put in place a new conflict of interest regulation on federal executive workers. But what this bill really does is put in place a regulatory framework across the board that protects consumers and puts the United States in a position of leadership in the crypto space and the Web3.
Like, everybody is saying the same from what I'm hearing. Again, I don't want to be sounding like a broken drum, but this is huge. Like, there is so much going on right now that everyone's eyes are on crypto. Like, the mainstream media is talking about it. Everyone is happy about it.
Technology. And so there's always conversations on Capitol Hill about ways that we can improve the ethics framework here on Capitol Hill. I'm involved in that conversation. I think we could do more as it relates to members of Congress. This legislation, though, is...
The issue is right now a lot of like members of the Congress, they don't know exactly what crypto is yet.
It's focused on putting in place a regulatory framework that will ultimately protect consumers and make sure that the United States is the world leader in the crypto and Web3 race.
Our own Bloomberg News team reporting last week that Donald Trump's personal net worth has remained...
Can you all notice they're always mentioning Donald Trump? It's always on the eyes of about net worth and this crypto holding. So this is the thing that they try to make. They like try to say that this is bad because Trump is owning a lot of crypto. I think in a way it is bad. I don't like say that it's not the worst. But the thing you have to realize is, why would Trump do it if it was not for money? Like, it's not for the community, right? Everybody's in crypto some part because of the money. A lot of people love decentralization. A lot of people came into crypto rich. Me personally, why I love it so much, because I love building communities. I love talking, and this is the way I can talk without, people avoiding me in real life. So, when people like my videos, that's how I get, how I feel happy. I don't need money. But for Trump, it might be building power. It's basically seeing an undertapped market for him and seeing another, he can make probably, let's say, I'm saying a guess right now, but it could be another 50 million. And that's totally fine, right? He could be making another 100 million with crypto and joining billionaires. He's definitely not he's a billionaire, but it's not like Elon Musk rich. So Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Can he join that? It's possible. Crypto could help him in many ways to get there, especially if it's pumping and everybody would love him. It's a big support as well.
Relatively unchanged since retaking the White House, but the makeup of that net worth has changed. Licensing deals and crypto ventures have added at least $620 million to his fortune in recent months. Are there any...
So he's at 620 million. Now that's much more than I thought.
Retaking the White House, but the makeup of that net worth has...
I think because he probably invested as well, like he bought and built companies.
Changed. Licensing deals and crypto ventures have added at least $620 million.
So from just licensing deals and crypto ventures, I was totally off. He made about 600 million. So he's probably going to make a few more billion, 3.5 years.
$1 million to his fortune in recent months.
Unless crypto pumps more.
Are there any conflicts of interest there?
Well, I think you see as a president that's engaged in this space. I think that stands in stark contrast to when President Biden was in the White House and Gary Gensler was engaged in enforcement actions against the crypto industry. And so the president...
So we saw a full 180 from basically them hating crypto to them loving crypto.
...is making his own decisions in that regard. This legislation is focused on a broader regulatory framework to make sure, again, that we're protecting consumers and allowing the United States to win the Web3 race. And so
again, the Web2 race was already won, but the Web3 race is still in fight. And if US wins this, we could be absolutely, dominating. Or, well, US, I'm not from US. But the thing is, anyone from US, I really envy them because they are already going to be they're already the number one superpower country. So could this actually pump them to even more money? I'm definitely hyped for that. There's been another update for XRP. Wait, let's check that. XRP massive update. People are failing to talk about this. Let's check one more video.
A massive